All right, guys, good evening. It is 10:30 p.m. on Monday, May 6, 2019. Hope everybody's doing well. Just wanted to make a video here a little bit late, but in about 2 hours from now, we have our first major piece of risk event for the week, and that would be the RBA cash statement, cash rate and rate statement. Um, About an hour ago, we had Aussie retail sales, and they did come out, and Aussie trade balance did come out both better than expected. So, but that really didn't do anything as I expected because the market's kind of waiting for this. And of course, whatever they're going to do here has already been decided, regardless of what this data said. So, just to it's really interesting in reading the analysis of what is the market's expecting here. It's all over the place. And so I brought up a couple of examples. So this is on Forex Source, and this ANZ expecting to cut rates by 25 basis points to 1.25% in response to fall in core inflation. And so um, so yeah, rate cut by the RBA will likely push the Aussie lower initially, with market expectations at about 49% for a cut. And then if you go to Forex Live, which you can do, this is again a free site, and you should definitely make this part of your daily reading. Is This is kind of a summary posting that they have. Three of the four big Australian banks say no rate cut today. Now here's that ANZ one I just told you about. And then you have Westpac, CBA, NAB are all on the on hold camp, so the ones that are saying there will not be a cut. And you can just see they've got some other previews up here, and I'm not going to read them all, but you can see it's all over the place. 8 reasons why the RBA will cut rates. Markets 50-50 split. Aussie beset by weak domestic data, calls for imminent RBA cuts, but buy it anyways. Westpac says indisputable the RBA will cut rates, but not at this meeting. NAB CEO has dismissed calls for an RBA interest rate cut. So I guess my point is, guys, is that this is going to be a really interesting one because the market is, again, about 50-50. This morning I was seeing it was even 60-40 in thinking there was going to be a cut, but now it's more like 50-50. So this really, I think, is going to be a surprise one way or another. And of course, it's all going to depend what's in the statement. And in this case, it will depend whether they actually cut. Usually there's no cut, and you're just waiting to see what the statement says. But in this particular situation, of course, there'll be the headline, which is, do they make the cut? And then the second piece is going to be, what the statement says. If they do, if they stay on hold, are they going to still, will they still shift to a more dovish tone anyways? And that will still give the market reason to sell the Aussie. Or will they, kind of buck the trend and say, hey, we're not cutting rate, things really aren't that bad, and, we're going to just let things ride, in which case the Aussie probably will strengthen. Or they cut rates, and they're also bearish, then that'll accelerate the down move. So guys, really keep an eye on this one because this has all the makings of being a very volatile event either way. And I don't see anything really clear in the chart patterns either. So this could be this is going to be an interesting one because usually it's pretty it's pretty well decided what there's really not a lot of surprise, and it usually just comes down to a little tweak in the statement, or if they hold a press conference, a little tweak in their forward guidance that ends up traders end up trying to glean out of some little change in a statement. But they don't even know. There's no consensus here whether they're even going to cut the rate or not. So forget about what they say. So it's going to be an interesting one to see, A, do they cut, and B, what do they ultimately say in the statement that's going to come out with it. So, if we look at a couple of the charts here, here's your Aussie Swiss on the daily chart. We're looking at potentially another move back down, or this could be kind of the end of a correction, and we move up. I mean, my gut is still that this will go down again. We gapped open, as most of these pairs did yesterday. We gapped open. We've come back now. We have not yet filled this gap. We did, you may not fill it, but we could see maybe a little rally and then continue back, come up, fill this gap, and then continue back down. That's a possibility. So kind of the same thing across all these pairs. Here's the Aussie dollar. You know, again, we went up, then we gapped, and then we're just kind of sitting right there. Here's the Aussie Canadian. Again, the trend is definitely down here on the daily chart. But we did kind of move up, and so now you have to maybe look at that. This is a move up, and this is a correction to the downtrend and to the uptrend, and it's going to keep going up. Aussie yen, as you can see, I had an Elliott wave pattern drawn on here, which did end right here. And now are we continuing for a new push down, or are we going to come back up? Take that off of there. And then the interesting one is Aussie Kiwi, which has really bucked the trend. This was on the Kiwi news last week that was negative, and so that pushed the Aussie Kiwi up. And then we just kind of drifted all the way back down. And when the market opened yesterday, it spiked down, took out this low, and ended up closing back above this low. And then look what happened after that. The Aussie Kiwi has continued up. And, is it going to continue the trend? If you zoom out a little bit, this whole move down could have been, an ABC pattern. Although technically from an Elliott wave standpoint, if this was an ABC and then this move up was, say, a wave one, wave two can never go past the origin of wave one. Well, if wave one started right here at the low of this candle, you can see what happened here. This is well past it. So technically that violates a cardinal Elliott rule. So you kind of have to throw that out if I'm going to be if I'm going to follow the rules. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the bottom line is, guys, I don't really see exactly what's going to go on. And I think that's definitely bearing it out in the news. Again, the news is very split on what's going to happen, and the chart patterns are equally as confounding here. So I suspect what might happen is we might see an initial move in one direction, maybe for the rest of the Asian session, or perhaps for just a short time, and then things may turn around during London. Of course, this is going to be coming out during the back half of the Asian session. So, but it is nevertheless in the Asian session, which typically has lower liquidity and lower volume of trading, and often does not follow through on the during the London session. But so. And you see those moves reversed. So anyways, guys, I'm not making any predictions on this. I'm going to look at it. I am going to wait up because it doesn't come out till 12:30 a.m. my time. But I'm going to stay up because I really want to see. And if I don't get a good feeling about it initially, I'll stay out, and I'll check it again once London opens and see where everything goes at that point. So, but a lot of mixed opinion about this one, guys. More so than I've seen in a long time, in terms of, again, whether they're going to cut at all, and if they do, how that's going to be interpreted by the market, and what the statement will say. So, should be a really interesting one, guys. So, be on your toes. If you're in any Aussie trades now, be cautious. I might want to button them up, but either way, just be careful. Because it's going to be volatile, I think, either way, because of all this indecision that's going to make it very volatile. So let's see what happens. But anyways, guys, I'll try to make a follow-up tomorrow on it. It's not going to be tonight. But stay tuned. Again, it'll be an interesting one. And let's see where it shakes out, and see if maybe there's an opportunity to take a trade on this once it all comes out. So anyways, guys, hope you get to see this before the news. If not, then go back and watch it later. and you see the type of analysis you have to do to be prepared for these risk events. So anyways, guys, that's it. Have a great night, and we'll talk to everyone very soon. Thanks.